Hello guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Anastasia, Russian language teacher, and today we will discuss some problems in communication with Russians, no matter if you have business communication or you try to look for new friends. I will tell you some solutions to this problem. So let's start. The most common problem in communication with Russians, it's a language barrier. The problem is that many Russians just don't speak English fluently and even don't speak English at all sometimes, and it makes some troubles for you to communicate with them. So the solution is to overcome this issue. You need maybe to find a good translation app or translator, the guy who will help you, or you need to learn some Russian. Maybe you need a friend who will help you to translate and take him to your meeting. It will help you to overcome this gap. Cultural differences. Of course, Russian culture is very different from Western cultures. Sure, Russian culture is different from Western culture, and this can lead to misunderstandings, misinterpretations during the conversation. So, solution, of course, you need to learn about Russian culture a bit more, just not be surprised to everything what you will see. You will see why Russians have these values, these habits, and what is the differences between you. Directness and bluntness. Russians tend to be very direct and blunt sometimes, and you need also to be prepared for this. Sometimes it doesn't mean that they are rude, it means just they are the person like this, and they can sound a bit aggressive sometimes. So the solution is to understand these differences and not to take offense sometimes, and also to avoid misunderstandings. It's also good to be direct in communication with Russians. Russians will value this. Then formality and informality. In Russian culture, it's kind of strict rule. Also, you need to understand these nuances where you should be formal or informal, because sometimes it can be just rude. So sometimes calling person by just the first name or using informal language just can make you impolite or rude. So if you have a formal meeting, if you still don't know each other, it's better to use formal language, just not to be rude. But if your relationship is more casual, of course, you just use the name, you say "ты", not "вы", and it's okay. High context communication. Russians tend to use high context communication, where a lot can be said by non-verbal cause and context rather than explicit words. So always pay attention to the non-verbal signs. For example, facial expressing, tone, voice. It can show even more than words that people say. Different communication style. Russians can be very emotional sometimes and can even interrupt each other, especially if their communication is very emotional. So it's very important to be patient sometimes. Don't be too surprised when they start arguing and discussing something, interrupt each other. Just try to stay calm. They're just Russians, especially if there's big discussions. Then misinterpretation is in time. Russians sometimes can be a bit late. They are sometimes a bit relaxed about time. They can be late a bit. Sure, it's better when they say it in advance that they have problems, but also it can happen. And be a bit late for a meeting can be kind of common. Solution: just be more understanding and flexible about time, clarify expectations and deadlines, and be prepared for potential delays. Distrust of strangers. Russians tend to have a more reserved and distrusting attitude toward strangers, and sometimes it's kind of complicated to make the connection fast. So Russians just need more time to be used for your communication. So the solution: building trust take time. So again, it's very important to be patient. Just try to stay calm again and give them some time for this. Avoiding conflicts. For Russians, usually it's better to avoid the conflict. They, even if they are disagree with you, to save relationship than to show that you are right. especially if the situation become more serious. And so it's important to be direct, but also it's important to avoid the conflicts. So clarify expectations and actively listening. Guys, write comments about your experience in communication with Russian people. Also, if you are interested in learning Russian language, you can book a first Russian language class with me, and we will discuss your goals, and probably if we feel comfortable, we will continue working together. So have a great weekend, have a good day, see you soon.